Hi, this is Dominic from Paphos Life, and in today's film we're driving along a very pretty part of Paphos between Aphrodite's Baths and Polis. So let's have a look at the map, and we're starting off by going from the Baths down to the Anassa Hotel, and from there we head to Latchi, and from Latchi we go to a junction that takes you up to Kafikas, but we're staying on the main road going all the way to Polis. We have a little drive through to the centre of Polis before finishing at Pap's supermarket. And no, we are not sponsored by Pap's supermarket or any other supermarket for that matter. I'm not saying we wouldn't like to be, but that's a different story. Anyway, on the left here, you have Aphrodite's hidden beach, or the secret beach, depending on what you want to call it, and the very nice restaurant. I should apologise for the occasional sun flare, or lens flare rather. That's just a fact of life, I'm afraid, when you're filming in winter and the sun's low in the sky. But I'll try to keep it to a minimum, but that's also why I'm filming in this direction, because on the other direction it'd be a lot worse. Weather-wise, sunny but very cold. Well, I say very cold, I mean very cold if you're used to living in Cyprus. I just checked on the weather report, and it's about 18 degrees centigrade during the day in Paphos, which will be laughed at by anyone in Britain, I suppose. But we feel cold. Anyway, on the left you're going to come up to the dog beach turning soon. If you remember from a film previously in the year, that beach down there and the surrounds, there's a turning to the dog beach. There were a lot of parasols and gazebos, etc. Because this is where basically a lot of the locals in Cyprus would come. Actually, I think that was a turning there. They had two similar signs, both in the opposite directions to the way we're going. But yes, a lot of the local Cypriots come down here for their holidays. And it's a nice sight to see. But yeah, so it's if you've got Cypriot blood in you now, it's quite cold. There's another restaurant and beach down there on the left. There are quite a few beaches along this route. If you're wondering whether you can make sandcastles on them, around Halavro Bay, which we're coming up to in a little bit, you probably can, but most of them, the sand's too coarse, and there's quite a few pebbles about, but they're lovely beaches, so don't let them let that put you off. They're blue flag beaches as well. Pretty much all of them. There's another restaurant there on the left. And one day I'll actually make a point of making a note of what the resorts along here are actually called, so I can give them a shout out as I pass. In the meantime, if you like our films, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel and share them far and wide. The more you share them, the more YouTube notice us and promote us internally, which helps us out immeasurably, so please do share us. And if you want to help us out financially, go to our Buy Me a Coffee page at buymeacoffee.com/Paphos Life and bung us a few coffees, and that will go to basically buy coffee or pay for new films. And if you want to get something back in return, go to our Etsy shop at etsy.com/shop/Paphos Life, and there you can get a gift for the person in your life who loves Paphos. What more can I say for that, with Christmas coming up and all that? Just here is the turning for Halavro Bay. There's the sign for the water sports as well, which means that the Anassa Hotel is just coming up. If you look at our drone footage, that's the big hotel you see at the end of the big long beach. It's a very nice place. And a rich and famous guy, apparently. As I'm neither rich nor famous, I wouldn't know. But if you want to help me rich, then go to that Buy Me a Coffee page. Anyway, what to talk about? I've done the weather. Yeah, this is meant to be a film to give you a little break from Christmas fodder, because there's going to be a lot of that in the coming days, I would imagine, as the lights get turned on, etc. Also, it'll give you a break from Paphos City, get you exploring a bit more of the other parts of the island. I've done some other films of the countryside in between, which I'll intersperse as time goes on. There'll also be probably fewer drone footage over the winter months, purely and simply because it's a lot windier and the drone doesn't get put up to fly there. So you have to make do with what you get, basically, because I don't want the drone to go crashing into any rocks, for obvious reasons. So we're coming onto the road down from near Rio, which is a lovely little village, well worth your visit. I mean, the whole area is, if you're on holiday and you've hired a car, get over to Polis and the surrounding areas. We do road trip ebooks, actually. Off the top of my head, the second one will go across from Paphos, across to Karmas even, via proper roads, I should say, through the Karmas villages, and take you to Prodromi, and then up to Aphrodite's Baths, and then back along the B7 and more villages towards Paphos. That's road trip book 2. And then it's either book 3 or 4, covers the coast between Polis and Katopyrgos goes all the way up there. Both of them do, between them. Pomos is the divider. Anyway, we're coming up to Latchi now. Now, be aware that there's a number of parking restrictions in place in certain car parks now. I don't think they start here. But when you get into Latchi itself, and between Latchi and the Polis Municipal Beach, there are parking meters. Don't know how rigorously they're enforced, but they're there, so be aware of them. I don't think the car park this side of Latchi, which you're just seeing on the right, has any meters, but don't quote me on that. There's a nice beach here on the left though, all part of Latchi. And here's the main drag we're approaching. It's a lovely little harbour, and as you'd expect, along the side of the harbour there are a lot of restaurants, mainly fish restaurants, I seem to remember, which is not to be unexpected, seeing as it's a harbour. It's a very beautiful little place there, and it's also a good place to come for tours. Sort of take you to the Blue Lagoon and other places. You can search on the Viator site for tours departing from Latchi as well, to give you an idea of which ones are still running, because you can search that by date. So I'll stick a link in the description for that. But there's an awful lot of shops here as well. You can get all touristy stuff and food, what have you. And to the right, if you take a number of fairly random roads, you'll come to the start of Patratis Gorge, which I featured was it this year or last year? I think it was last year. I went exploring in there. It's a beautiful place. It's not tourist friendly at all. I mean, the route I took to actually get into the gorge, it's hiking boots and long trousers and etc. and four-wheel drive to even get to the point where I descended. So. But from afar even, it's a very beautiful area. Now if you look at all these parking spots on the left here, are controlled by parking meters. See if we can pick one out as we go past. There's a bus stop there if they're not there. Oh, here's one there, that little thing there on the left, we're just going past. So use them. I seem to remember you had to put your number plate in or something weird. But there you have it, that's progress for you. Now this road's been done up quite a lot over the last year or two. And there's the municipal beach, and note that brown area on the left, that's a place you can park which doesn't have a meter on it. And that little lane there on the left takes you to, first of all, another beach which is a lot quieter, and then it'll get you, if you follow it around, to the camping site. I'm not sure what the state of that is at the moment though, because it was closed for renovations, though people were still using it. So I need to go and visit there again at some point. Now coming up the hill to Papantoniou, there's a little picnic area and kiddies play area on the left up here somewhere. It's a nice cycle lane on the right as well. I think, yeah, where the swings I can just see on there on the left. Not sure if there are picnic benches there as well, but I wouldn't be surprised. Now we're in a little area called Papantoniou, which lies between Latchi and Polis. I'm never sure of the villages in Paphos where one ends and one begins, but if I get it wrong I normally get told off. There's a turning that'll take you up to Papantoniou. Oh, I said that too early. Yes, I have. That's the turning that'll take you up to Papantoniou and to Paya. And if you take the junction at Papantoniou, you can also get to our beloved Pelemi and Strumby and onto the B7 to take you to Paphos. There's an interesting mural coming up here on the right. And just remember, all this is in our second road trip ebook, and either the third or the fourth one. So check them out on Amazon. There's normally links to them dotted around the place. Definitely in the description. If you're hiring a car, get them. And there's a nice restaurant there, Tis Pizza Miss Killier or something. I can't remember the exact name, but they do. It's not. They do pizzas, but their local Cypriot food's very nice indeed. I heartily recommend the mixed grill if you want to be completely stuffed for a very reasonable price. Or you can get a proper pork chop there. I mentioned them in the past. Oh God, I'm feeling hungry already. I've already just had my breakfast. Just thinking about them now. And I know it sounds so weird getting excited over a pork chop, but believe me, they're so different from the pork chops you get in the UK. Trust me. When you come over here, get a pork chop. As long as it's called a jumbo pork chop or a big pork chop. If you bought a pork chop on what I've just said and you got a regular pork chop that you get in the UK, you would rightly be disappointed. Anyway, we're in Polis now. We're going to have a little drive around the area which in the last couple of years has been turned into a Christmas village. So hopefully that trend will continue. There's another mural just ahead there, and we'll be turning down here. Normally when it's a Christmas village you can't drive down here for obvious reasons. But as we're pre-Christmas still, it's being filmed in November, we can have a little look. It's a lovely area for shops as well, all sorts of weird places down here. Weird and wonderful, I should say. I mean weird as in a nasty fashion. Unusual, that's a better word. And here's the square where Santa Claus will no doubt be squatting. And that restaurant we're passing on the right always does very well in the Christmas decoration department. Looks lovely. I haven't heard anything about what's happening this year, but hopefully it's going to be a repeat of what the last couple of years have been like. Because it's well worth a visit if that's the case. It's a nice place to visit anyway. Always got plenty of time for Polis and the North Coast in general. Now we're just negotiating our way through the busy traffic. And on the other side of this roundabout here, it's a very handy to know bakers. I mean, there are quite a few bakers, but they do if you want a quick place to eat as well, you can get takeaway food there. It's very nice. That one on the left there. Parking can be a bit interesting outside it at times. And of course, another place you can get food. There's the big church on the left here, which you can't see. There'll be a 360 version of this film going out on Friday, so you'll be able to see the church on that film. Or just twiddling the camera around. And on the right, you have Papantoniou supermarket, which at some point in the future will be renamed Clavenitis. Not sure when that's going to be happening. There can't be much more in this year because there's not a lot this year left. And note the turning I'm using to getting into the car park, because for ages we didn't know this turning was here, and we were coming up and doing a U-turn and going in the other entrance. But this one, once you know it's here, is a lot easier to use. And if you're leaving perhaps and you want to go in the direction of Argaka, this is the one you should come out of, because you can turn right at the end of that one, but not at the other one. And there you have it. Hope you've enjoyed the film. And the look at the north coast of Paphos. It's always worth considering. It's a lovely area. And we'll see you in the next film. Take care, and if you're in Cyprus, wrap up warm. Cheers.